Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I spent my youth in the grassroots music scene, playing in bands and putting on shows with my friends. The music was rough, the gear rarely worked, and if we got one lonely punter who wasn't a family member turn up, we considered that a win. The DIY music scene was where my journey into politics began, in a hardcore punk band, writing songs about our disenfranchisement from the world around us. We were kids, expressing ourselves with electric guitars and microphones. Indeed, I often think how many colleagues in this House cut their political teeth in the debate chamber of the Oxford Union, or others who cut theirs on the floor of the Trades Union Congress. I cut mine, Madam Deputy Speaker, in a mosh pit, with a microphone in my hand and music in my heart, covered in other people's sweat and blowing out my vocal cords, screaming nonsense like "The Nurse Will Rise." When I grew up, Madam Deputy Speaker, a band could release an album, they could go on tour in medium-sized venues, and while they wouldn't necessarily become rich, they were at least able to get by. Today, though, with the proliferation of streaming services and the erosion of the value of ticket and merchandise sales, live acts can barely break even on music streams, and the venues are closing, as many acts operate in pay-to-play environments, losing money every time they play. While indicative of a failing industry, the existence of pay-to-play has long been true in small venues for small bands. But I understand that this year Glastonbury was pay-to-play for even some of the biggest acts. Indeed, The Independent recently reported that one act had spent £80,000 of their own money on a Glastonbury set, while smaller acts were offered just 250 quid to play one of the smaller stages and weren't even given enough tickets to cover the whole band. This is a deeply unsustainable system that freezes out all but those with the private means to pay their own way. It's killing our creativity. Madam Deputy Speaker, have you noticed how in recent years there has been a rise in the number of solo artists and a decline in the number of bands? In my view, this effect is born not only out of a change in music tastes, but out of simple economics. If a promoter is paying £100 to an act to play, a solo act takes home £100, while a five-piece act scrapes by with a measly 20 quid each. I had this experience personally, exactly, in fact, the one time that my band were paid anything for a gig, and it didn't even cover our train tickets to the city that we played in. As colleagues look forward to the summer recess, Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to make a request of everyone. Colleagues, please go and see a band this summer, preferably in a small venue, preferably a band you've never heard of. Please buy some of their merchandise and tell them they were good, even if they weren't, especially if they weren't. Because without Ellie Dixon, there's no Chapel Roan, without Not Right, there's no Bikini Kill, and without Nurse Joy, there's no Red Hot Chili Peppers. Please support the grassroots. It's everything.